And of course there was some discussion exchange in the Commission via our programs, via different stakeholders, and I must say mainly stakeholders coming from the business side, where they said, okay, we have to do something. We have to try really to bring this the worlds closer together. And then there was the idea started at an European level. We will start this forum, a sort of platform in order to bring the different stakeholders and players together on European level. And then of course try to see how we can then use this platform on European level to also to stimulate or to create, certain actions then on one side, in our programs, so to change our programs, to adapt a little the priorities, and on the other side, of course, how to create action on the national or on the regional level to put it forward. And I think that more, of course, when I look at your project, this is something, I don't know if this was something in your mind for a long time, but of course these are the kind of things we are looking forward to. So that we have on one side, actions which we can push from the European level, but they are then also the bottom-up approach, really, which are coming from the field. So there on the communication, or on this communication in 2007, we had an extremely positive reaction again, also from the Council, which we of course need, and then we went forward. I will not speak now here about the Bologna process. But then we had the forum, and there you see, of course, the main thing is to provide this platform, and on the other side to allow for the exchange of good practice and for mutual learning. And I also here, we have organized so far since February 2008 a number of different forums. We have big forums in Brussels normally once every year, and then normally what we call thematic forums, where we try to address more specific topics. And we had organized one in Brussels and the others in different places in Europe. And this is something we would like to continue, because I think it's a good thing to have these thematic forums in other places in Europe, because first, I think you can get really access to other players, to organizations and people that would not come to Brussels to participate in such events. So I think this is definitely, I think, a good approach. It makes it a little more complicated, but I think it's something we should try to develop. And then the work of the forum, we have used it in order to put also together a communication, which was on one side important on our side in the Commission, to make this work more visible also to the other Directorate Generals, and to get them involved into it, even if we had some contacts with other services. And then of course going to the Parliament and to the Council to speak about this. And there again, this communication, and you see, we have addressed 6 different topics in the communication. It was extremely well received in the Council, because it was also one of the priorities of the Czech presidency in last year, to bring together these two worlds. And then very recently we got also the reaction from the European Parliament, which again is very positive. So we hope, of course, also that all these reactions now we can continue to keep them up, the interest, and then afterwards that this will also have an impact on our programs for the future perspectives. And then, for the last forum, of course, and you are aware of it, there we had Sue Brownlow from Erin, who participated at the conference as a keynote, and also Nicolas Wallet. So I think and we try to push a little the whole agenda about the regional development, so the importance of university business cooperation and regional development. And I think this is also something we want to continue, definitely. And so to make also sure that this is something which will be very, very present in the future structural funds, so after 2013, in the new programs. So now some short remarks perhaps to the EIT. This is also linked because we had a small reorganization in our Directorate General. So before I was in a different unit, and now with the file University Business Corporation, I've moved into the unit of the EIT, because one idea is also to create a closer link between what is ongoing in the EIT and in the KICS. And on the other side, how we could use this platform on University Business Corporation to create a link with all universities or higher education institutions and also companies who are not involved in the KICS, and use it as a sort of platform on one side to disseminate or to replicate perhaps certain things, good practices which are done in the KICS, and on the other side, of course, also feedback to the KICS and to the EIT. But of course, at the moment, the EIT, see here, the idea is there again, is really to make the knowledge triangle operational, and in particular with a very strong focus on the education component, to make education really very present. And then we will have to see, I mean, at the moment, the KICs, they are not yet, fully operational. They have been selected, but now the negotiations are ongoing, and of course, I mean, afterwards we'll see when they start what are the real deliverables. But definitely, I mean, we have very high expectations there. And then, I mean, we will have to see how we, can bring this EIT, the KICs, what is ongoing there, to the rest of the community. So I think on the EIT, I mean, as you see here, the next steps at the moment, of course, I mean, the setup is ongoing. The headquarters exists now in Budapest. They are recruiting staff, and of course, they are working now on one side on the agreements with the KICs to get the contracts finalized, and then also preparing for the future with this innovation agenda, strategic innovation agenda for next year, which will be something extremely important, because this is something only after this has been adopted that there will be perhaps the creation of new KICs. And this is the process, is that the EIT will work on this together with the stakeholders, present it to the Commission will give its opinion, perhaps make some changes, whatever, and then afterwards it goes to the Council and the Parliament. And then they will adopt. And then there, of course, this will also be a very big, give some clarity to what extent, they will support the further development of the EIT and the KIC. If there is substantially more funding made available in order to establish more KICs. And of course, the strategic innovation agenda, I think, will also be closely linked, and this is why we are so heavily involved into this innovation action plan, which at the moment is prepared also by the Commission, because obviously this has to be coherent. So now, perhaps some remarks to the funding instruments, and I think I'm almost close to the 20 minutes, and I think there we can go quite quickly over it. I think one is about our Erasmus program. And there, of course, I mean, when you see, the lifelong learning program, that will focus on Erasmus, which is for higher education. And there, of course, a very big, chunk of the funding goes for mobility. I mean, there you see it, and then if you compare, of course, our program with the research program, you see, there again, it's, of course, it's substantially more smaller. Overall we have around 7 billion euros for the lifelong learning program for the 7 years, so more or less 1 billion. And you see this year, or for 2010, Erasmus, it takes 450 million. Overall over the 7 years, Erasmus is more or less 40% of the budget. And there again, most goes into mobility. What is interesting on the mobility side is that you observe a certain, stagnation in a number of countries on the transnational mobility, the normal transnational mobility between universities, and there is a stronger demand, more and more coming up on the placements. So trying to see to what extent students, people who are students in universities can go to companies. And this is something I think there's a high demand, and this is something where our colleagues, or my colleagues now, are really strongly working in. How can this be improved, and how can we provide a better platform to make this happening? And this is, of course, also something we would like to develop very much in the future. So the whole exchange between higher education and companies, organizations. And there you see, I have put some information together, and there's also afterwards the address of the website. And I think the most important is there will be, did I put in the information somewhere, a call, and there you might have a look at it. And if you have, some concrete questions on Erasmus, one is to approach the national agencies who are working in this, because there is, of course, in each member state a national agency which is in charge of the program on national level also, in particular for mobility measures. And on the other side is, our executive agency who is running the centralized measures. So if there you have very, very specific questions, please have a look at the website, and then also contact the colleagues. And if you have, I can be then the mediator if you want, if you are looking for a person or so.